weeks ago.
Yeah, Ikea Hood died in a shooting on Sunday morning in southern Dallas. NBC5's Maria Guerrero has some new developments.
One day after the fatal shooting of a 17-year-old brand new mother, Dallas police today issuing an arrest warrant for a 17-year-old man for murder. The victim, Ikea Hood, just 17 years old. The Lancaster High School junior, member of the Tigerette drill team and brand new mom, was gunned down just after 10:30 Sunday morning in the 700 block of Grambling Drive. Her killer, Dallas police say, took off. Detectives on Monday said they're searching for 17-year-old Trayvon Darnell Wright in her murder, but giving no details on their relationship or a possible motive. In a statement, Hood's family telling NBC5 they want the world to know just how amazing she was. To know her is to love her. Dancing, fashion, beauty, hair, and her 3-week-old baby girl, Iceland, were everything to her. Her siblings and her mom had a bond like no other. Next Level Dance Company in Dallas sharing this tribute to their beloved member, expressing their heartache. Lancaster ISD saying in a statement, Hood's death represents a great loss for our district, and we will be providing counseling and grief services for students and staff members impacted by this tragedy.
A 17-year-old mother lay dead on her bedroom floor, shot just weeks after giving birth. The window screen pushed out. The killer gone. All because she planned to tell a truth that day. A truth about her newborn daughter. Ikea Imari Hood had made a decision that morning in January 2024. After weeks of keeping a secret that weighed on her conscience, she was finally going to tell her on-again, off-again boyfriend that he wasn't the father of her newborn baby girl. She never got to see the sun set that day. What happened in that bedroom in Southeast Oak Cliff, Dallas, wasn't just a murder. It was the deadly culmination of a relationship where control, possession, and fragile masculinity collided with devastating consequences. A young woman's courage to speak her truth cost her everything. In this episode, we're going to walk you through the exact timeline of events that led to Ikea's death. You'll hear about the relationship dynamics that escalated to violence. You'll learn about the critical moments when her mother heard that single, fatal gunshot. And you'll understand how a young woman with a radiant smile, exceptional dance talent, and a newborn daughter became another statistic. Another young mother whose life was cut short by intimate partner violence. If you've ever known someone in a dangerous relationship, hit subscribe now as we explore warning signs that could save lives. Because Ikea's story isn't just about one tragedy, it's about a pattern that repeats itself across America every single day. Ikea Imari Hood was just 17 years old, a high school junior at Lancaster High School in Dallas, Texas. But those basic facts don't capture who she truly was. With her radiant smile and infectious laugh, Ikea lit up every room she entered. She wasn't just existing. She was living with purpose and passion despite her young age. Dance was her heartbeat. As a member of the Tigerette drill team at school and the Next Level community dance group, Ikea expressed herself through movement in ways words couldn't capture. Her dance instructor, Nairi Preston, called her a dance daughter. High praise that spoke to the bond they shared beyond the studio floor. She was vibrant, just a radiant smile, always laughing and a hard worker, Preston remembered, her voice breaking with the weight of what was lost. What made Ikea truly remarkable was her courage. At an age when most teenagers worry about prom and college applications, Ikea had embraced motherhood. She had recently given birth to a daughter, adding new responsibilities to her already full plate of school and dance commitments. Yet she handled it all with a poise that belied her years, determined to create a good life for herself and her child. This wasn't the carefree existence most 17-year-olds experience. This was a young woman making adult decisions, facing adult consequences, and navigating adult relationships, all without the benefit of a fully developed adult brain or the wisdom that comes with decades of life experience. For approximately 2 years, Ikea had been involved in a relationship with Trayvon Darnell Wright, also 17. Like many teenage relationships, theirs was tumultuous, on again, off again, a roller coaster of emotions amplified by youth and inexperience. But unlike healthy relationships that teach young people about compromise and mutual respect, this one harbored darker currents beneath the surface. While the public record doesn't detail every aspect of their relationship, What we do know is that Trayvon exhibited the classic signs of possessiveness that experts recognize as red flags. The relationship wasn't built on trust and mutual support. It was built on control and ownership. Trayvon didn't see Ikea as an autonomous person with her own dreams and agency. He saw her as an extension of himself, a possession. When Ikea became pregnant, the dynamics shifted. Pregnancy and new parenthood are vulnerable times for any woman, but especially for a teenager. Studies show that homicide is a leading cause of death for pregnant women and new mothers, with intimate partners being the most common perpetrators. Ikea was now in this high-risk category, though she likely had no idea. The breaking point came when Ikea discovered a truth that would shatter the fragile foundation of their relationship. Trayvon was not the biological father of her newborn daughter. This revelation placed her in an impossible position. Keep the secret and live with the lie, or tell the truth and risk his reaction. Ikea chose truth. She made the brave decision to tell Trayvon on Sunday, January 7, 2024. Perhaps she hoped for understanding. Perhaps she believed that honesty was the only way forward. Perhaps she simply couldn't bear the weight of the secret any longer. Whatever her reasoning, she couldn't have known that this act of honesty would be her last. For young mothers like Ikea, the systems designed to protect vulnerable women often fail before they can even be accessed. There are few resources specifically tailored to teenage mothers in potentially dangerous relationships. They exist in a gray area, not quite adults with full autonomy, yet facing very adult problems with very real consequences. The night before her death, Ikea was likely preparing herself mentally for the difficult conversation ahead. She may have rehearsed what she would say, how she would say it, perhaps even planning an escape route if things went badly. Or perhaps, with the optimism of youth, she believed that truth would be met with understanding rather than violence. What we do know is that by the next morning, she was ready to have that conversation. She invited Trayvon to her home, to her bedroom, a place where she should have been safe. Instead, it became the scene of her death. Before we walk through the events of that fatal day, we need to acknowledge the broader failures that set the stage for this tragedy. Our society fails young mothers like Ikea in multiple ways. Inadequate education about healthy relationships, insufficient support systems for teenage parents, and a culture that often normalizes possessive behavior as a form of love. Morning hours. Ikea wakes up in her family home in Southeast Oak Cliff, Dallas. Her newborn daughter is just weeks old. Today is the day she's decided to tell Trayvon Wright that he is not the biological father of her child. Approximately 10:30 a.m., Trayvon arrives at Ikea's home. He's allowed inside and goes to Ikea's bedroom. Her mother is home but gives them privacy, unaware of the conversation about to take place or the danger her daughter is in. 10:40 a.m. Ikea's mother hears a loud noise coming from her daughter's bedroom. It's a sound that will haunt her for the rest of her life, the gunshot that took her daughter from her. Immediately after, concerned by the noise, Ikea's mother tries to check on her daughter. She finds the bedroom door locked from the inside, an ominous sign. When she manages to enter the room, she makes a horrific discovery. The window screen is pushed out, the window is open, and her daughter is on the floor with a fatal gunshot wound. 10:45 a.m. Emergency services are called, but it's already too late. Ikea Hood is pronounced dead at the scene, her young life extinguished just as it was truly beginning. The escape. By the time police arrive, Trayvon Wright is gone. The pushed-out window screen tells the story of his hasty exit, fleeing the scene of his crime, leaving behind the mother of a child he had believed was his. The aftermath. As news of the shooting spreads, Ikea's school community at Lancaster High School is devastated. Extra counselors are assigned to help students and staff process their grief. The dance teams she was part of struggle to comprehend the loss of their vibrant member. According to the arrest affidavit, the motive becomes clear. Trayvon had just learned he was not the biological father of Ikea's baby. This revelation, this truth that Ikea had the courage to share, triggered a fatal response. In a moment of rage, he allegedly took the life of a young mother, forever altering the course of multiple lives, including that of an infant who will never know her mother. The timeline reveals the brutal efficiency of intimate partner violence. In less than 15 minutes, a life was taken, a family was shattered, and a community was left reeling. There was no time for intervention, no opportunity for de-escalation. The decision to pull the trigger was made in an instant, but its consequences will reverberate for generations.
A 17-year-old girl was killed by her 17-year-old boyfriend just 3 weeks after she gave birth. We now have his arrest affidavit. It includes brand new details, including the painful fact Ikea Hood's mother is who discovered her dead body. Ikea, again, was only 17, a dancer, gave birth just 3 weeks ago to that baby girl she was so excited to raise. Police have charged her boyfriend, 17-year-old Trayvon Wright, with her murder. According to his arrest affidavit, it happened January 7th, 10:30 a.m. in Ikea's family home. The affidavit does not explicitly name a motive, but according to detectives, Ikea recently learned Wright was not the father of her baby and planned to tell him that day. Up until this point, he believed the child was his. Detectives say that morning, Ikea's mom heard a loud noise in the house, went to check on her daughter, who was in her room with Wright. When she tried to open the door, it was locked from the inside. She called out for her daughter, ran outside, noticed Ikea's bedroom window was open, looked in, and saw her daughter's body with a gunshot wound. Ikea's family told us there'd been a history of domestic violence between the two. They've shared her story with us, hoping it might encourage even just one woman in an abusive relationship to leave.
I would hate for any other family to be in the situation that me and my family are in right now, where we're burying our 17-year-old sister and niece and daughter and cousin, and my niece is burying her mother. If you're in this situation, if you have a baby or you're not, just leave. It's not worth it. Your life is way more precious and valuable. Please just leave and get the help that you deserve.
The family has created a GoFundMe page to support Ikea's daughter. We've put the link for you on our website.
This is the reality of intimate partner homicide. It happens quickly, often with little warning to those on the outside. For Ikea, there was no dramatic build-up that others could see, no chance for friends or family to intervene. Just a conversation, a revelation, a gunshot, and then silence. In the wake of Ikea's death, the wheels of justice began to turn. Trayvon Darnell Wright didn't remain free for long. The U.S. Marshals Task Force tracked him down and arrested him on murder charges. He now faces the legal consequences of his actions, though no punishment can bring Ikea back or fill the void left in her family and community. But justice in the courtroom is only one part of the equation. True justice would mean preventing these tragedies before they occur. It would mean creating a world where young women like Ikea can speak their truth without fear of violent reprisal. It would mean building systems that protect vulnerable mothers and provide resources for healthy relationship education. So what can we learn from Ikea's story? What warning signs should we be watching for in our own communities? First, we need to recognize that controlling behavior is never love. Possessiveness, jealousy, and attempts to isolate a partner are red flags, not romantic gestures. Young people especially need to understand this distinction. Second, we must acknowledge the unique vulnerabilities of teenage mothers. They need specialized support systems that address both their youth and their parental responsibilities. This includes safe housing options, educational support, and access to counseling services. Third, we need to create spaces where difficult truths can be shared safely. Ikea's decision to tell Trayvon about the paternity of her child was the right one. Honesty is fundamental to healthy relationships. The tragedy isn't that she told the truth. It's that telling the truth cost her her life. Ikea's legacy lives on not just in the memory of those who loved her, but in the lessons we can learn from her story. Her radiant smile, her passion for dance, her courage in facing motherhood at a young age. These are the things we should remember about Ikea Imari Hood. Not just how she died, but how she lived. Ikea's story forces us to confront an uncomfortable question. In a world where speaking truth can be dangerous, how do we protect truth-tellers? The answer isn't to stay silent. The answer is to create a society where truth is valued over ego, where healthy masculinity doesn't depend on control, and where young women have the support they need to make difficult choices safely. Ikea's decision to tell Trayvon the truth about her baby's paternity wasn't just a personal choice, it was an act of courage. She chose honesty over comfortable lies, integrity over safety. In an ideal world, that choice would have been met with maturity and understanding, even if accompanied by hurt and disappointment. Instead, it was met with lethal violence, a response that reflects not just one individual's failure to control his emotions, but a broader cultural failure to teach young men how to process rejection, disappointment, and challenges to their identity without resorting to violence. For every Ikea whose story makes the news, there are countless other young women walking on eggshells, measuring their words carefully, hiding their truths out of fear. This is not freedom. This is not equality. This is a quiet epidemic of control and fear that we must address head-on. The cost of truth should never be a human life. The price of honesty should never be paid in blood. Yet for Ikea Hood, that was exactly the price she paid. A price that was far, far too high. Where were you when you first realized relationship violence could happen to anyone? Share in the comments below. Your story might help someone else recognize the warning signs before it's too late. The statistics on intimate partner violence are staggering, but they don't capture the individual tragedies. The dreams cut short, the families shattered, the communities left to pick up the pieces. Each number represents someone like Ikea, a real person with hopes, dreams, and people who loved them. Say her name, Ikea Hood, by sharing this video. Your one click could help another young mother recognize danger before it's too late. Subscribe to our channel to ensure these stories continue to be told, these names continue to be spoken, and these lessons continue to be shared. Because Ikea deserved to live. She deserved to raise her daughter. She deserved to graduate high school, to continue dancing, to grow into the remarkable woman she was already becoming. And while we can't give her back those opportunities, we can honor her memory by fighting for a world where other young women don't meet the same fate. Say her name, Ikea Hood. Remember her life, not just her death. And join us in our commitment to telling these stories until there are no more stories to tell.